in Fort Lauderdale, which is the media hotel. So the coaches will be here tomorrow to speak to the media, and then, of course, the next day the game goes. So, I mean, I've been in Miami about 50 minutes.
So just there. Thanks for having time to talk to us. And, I want to talk about the game, and I really want to hear perspective from Lubbock. But just for you, Pete, you have Oregon experience as well. You've been here before.
I used to work at KDRV in Medford, Oregon, and so we came up and covered the Ducks and the Beavers quite often. And then, of course, we're in Autzen Stadium for all those high school games when Crater Lake and South Medford and North Medford and whoever else made it. So that was a long time ago. But I will say I am an Oregon Duck fan, except when you're playing Lubbock, Texas, the Texas Tech. I've been out in Lubbock now for about 23 years, and big fish in a small pond, and I love every second of it. So I got a couple buddies in Oregon who just came out when Oregon State played here earlier this year, and I'll be back up next year to go to Corvallis.
Nice. Well, talking about this, Texas Tech, huge season. 12-1 coming into this. So let me hear just from your perspective, and especially now at 23 years there too, what is the feeling like in Lubbock for this team, who's never really had a season like this, that to really speak of, like that's this huge and this much momentum?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, to win the Big 12 championship, that Texas Tech had never played in it. And so when Texas Tech won, I cried. A lot of people cried. I mean, there are a lot of lean years for this team, especially under Cliff Kingsbury, who's now in the NFL. But many years, you thought that was going to be it, and then just disappointment. So this year, I think there was disappointment after Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. Here we go again. But this is a special team led by a special coach. The culture is legit, what they have going on, and everybody's excited. And I know a lot of Red Raider fans from all over the world are coming to Miami because this is the biggest game in Texas Tech Red Raider football history. But it was just that Big 12 championship when they beat BYU again so dominantly, it was unbelievable because never before has something like that happened. And so now you're in this, and Tech's a higher seed. So I think Red Raider fans expect. But, last year, and Oregon knows full well, you get that bye, that's not always a good thing. And don't get me started on the playoffs. This game should be in Lubbock. Oregon got to host a game. This round, the teams who had a bye, they should be hosting. Then the Final Four should be the bowl games. But, I'm just a little peon in Lubbock. So we're here, and they got to play. And, man, I just think it's going to be a phenomenal game.
I think a lot of people have that same opinion as you. I mean, even head coach of the Oregon Ducks, Dan Lanning, said the same thing. He said this game should be in Lubbock because that's fair. And as Oregon learned last year, it's a lot nicer to have a home game, especially after that extra bye. That didn't do that many good last year. But it's not. It's in Miami. So with that, I'm sure there's probably a lot of Texas Tech people traveling down there. But I'm curious from the standpoint, of what you're hearing and what people are saying. They are ranked 4, Oregon's 5, but I mean, they're both very close, I feel like. So what's the standpoint what's the viewpoint, I guess? What kind of view do Texas Tech people have of the Oregon Ducks?
Right. Well, first, I just want to mention they knew Texas Tech was coming out this way. So we did not fly into Houston and then come to Miami. We didn't fly to Dallas. It was a direct flight, Lubbock to Miami. You would never get that. So the plane was packed. And so that was special in itself. We got a direct flight out here. But, fans Texas Tech has never had a defense. So that was the big thing this year. And this team defensively is in the top 5 across the board. And I think, can they stop the run of Oregon? And the speed, I think, is something fans are concerned about. So I think Texas Tech fans are pretty confident. But I also know Oregon fans are confident. I got a Facebook page. When Texas Tech played BYU, it was all respectful. But a lot of Oregon fans have hit up on my KCBD page And of course, I'm biting my tongue. I'm not saying anything. But if Texas Tech wins, I'm going to go back after some of those clowns that are on my page. Oregon fans are just as confident. I mean, you have to be. But, Alabama can beat Indiana. Anybody can beat anybody right now in these 8 teams left. So, it's going to come down to who can impose their will. I just think Texas Tech wins on the offensive line and defensive line. We'll see. We'll see. I think Oregon's not going to be able to run the ball. We'll see. They're going to have to throw the ball. And I expect Texas Tech, Jacob Rodriguez, to cause some, they rush him and maybe get an interception. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, if Oregon can run the ball, then Texas Tech's going to have to move things around. But this year, not many teams have been able to run the ball against the Red Raiders.
And that is one thing to see. A couple of things to just there, talking about, there's loudmouths online on both sides, because I can tell you I've read some Texas Tech ones too. So everybody's got those fans. But except for James Madison University, they had some very humble fans who were very funny. But yeah, you've got that aspect. Everybody's confident going into this thing, and they both made it this far. There's a reason they're two of those final teams. With the Raiders, to talk just a little bit of football, talking about stopping the run. I mean, Dante Moore might be the #1 pick, possibly, if he were to go into the NFL draft. So that's a lot to deal with. Even if you can stop that, he's got a lot of threats there that he can put out for you. Yeah,
and so I think the big question for Texas Tech is, are they going to be able to score? They get in the red zone and had to settle for field goals over touchdowns. But, I think Oregon also struggles in the red zone, while Texas Tech is really good with red zone defense. And so, both teams kind of mirror each other. And I think both coaches have said that. And, to me, it's a 50-50 game. I mean, whoever doesn't make the most mistakes. And I'll be surprised if Oregon blows out Tech, and I'd be surprised if Tech blows out Oregon. I think it's going to be a pretty tight-knit game, and I don't know if it's going to be high-scoring or not.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely on paper, this looks like it's going to be a great game, between the two of them, because they do match up so well in so many different things, at least as far as, top offenses, top defenses, all of that in different categories, and Texas Tech, especially with their defensive line. But it's going to be fun. So let me ask you this. For people, and thank you for coming out of this station here out of Portland. For Oregon Ducks fans getting ready to watch this, what are, for them to, to maybe add a little bit of extra enjoyment to the game, or something to know, what do you think is the most important thing for them to know about Texas Tech when they're watching the game?
Well, I think a lot of people are talking about, this team is made of money. But let's be honest. Oregon has been about throwing the money around way before Texas Tech. So don't be throwing stones at Lubbock just because they spent $28 million this year. Joey McGuire, he's a high school coach they brought in, and he has done a really good job. The culture is legit. These guys love each other. It doesn't matter if the so-called star does not be the star and it's someone else. Those guys spend time together. And I know every team says that, but this team, the culture is really, really is something special. And they know they want to win this game for Lubbock, Texas. They know fans have been starving for this, and starving they have been. And it kind of starts on the defensive side with Jacob Rodriguez. The mustache man did not get to go to the Heisman, but won just about every other defensive award. And, off the air, right for here, in this downtime, he and his wife, who flies Black Hawk helicopters, they were out, giving Christmas to some veteran families who couldn't do that. And so, we got to get out there and see Jacob. And then on the side, all these kids want Jacob Rodriguez autographed jerseys. One mom reached out to me. I went and bought the jersey. I went and found Jacob when he was doing some of this charity work. He signed it for me. I mean, just a great guy. And I mean, most of these guys on these teams are great. So for him, I think he's hungry because he did not get to, go as one of the finalists for the Heisman. He finished 5th, but man, he can punch the ball out. He is legit. And so, but all these guys on the defensive side, Romello Height, on the edge. It's David Bailey, who used to be at Stanford. He's been phenomenal, and Bryce Pollock has, I think, 6 interceptions this year, and you can just go down the line. So many great guys on this defense. On the offensive side, it starts with Baron Morton. He was born in Lubbock, Texas. Used to go to the games. His father coached a local high school in Lubbock, and then they moved away to go to another high school. But it means a lot to him to help Lubbock and Texas Tech win this game and advance on. And so he has been injured. And so, as much as I wish Texas Tech did not have a bye, I am glad they did for his sake, because he's been able to mend himself, as some of the other guys. I mean, nobody's going to be 100% in this game. You're playing your 14th game of the year. So just a lot of good guys on this team, some local guys who really take it to heart to try to win this game for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And I'll just mention this. In the second half, I was shocked how James Madison, outdid the Ducks. And for Texas Tech, it's the defense that gets even better in the third and fourth quarters. And I'm going to tell you straight up. And I think Texas Tech wins this game. But, and I would tell you, even though I'm from Lubbock, we make our picks every week. I've picked against Texas Tech. But again, it's a fine line. I got a really tight game, but I got Texas Tech winning. I
think it's a tight game. I mean, I think the James Madison stuff in the second half, I think, is a little bit, excuse a little bit. Just it feels like they let off the gas. I mean, because they were up by so much and they were just dominating. I think that is a mistake as far as that, but maybe that was part of resting the guys a little bit more. I don't know. That's a Dan Lanning question, I suppose. But yeah, it's definitely. I think everybody knows there's a lot on the line for this. I mean, it's win or go home. That's it. Yeah. And both teams are playing with. I mean, I'm sure Oregon has a bit of a grudge from last year, from being number one and having that happen, and they've heard it all year long. Of all of that. I'm sure they'd love to get back at Ohio State, but Texas Tech also, first time there. So that's why I think it's going to be a good match. It's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, whichever team goes forward. But I'm just hoping we have a good game. Yeah, and I would expect that. I mean, I will tell you, last year when Oregon was one, I was rooting for them to win the title. So, having worked there before in Oregon, I love Brookings. I love Gold Beach. Do not speed going through Springfield. I know it all. Yeah, exactly. So you know those drills. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Pete, thank you for talking to us. So what's next for you, if in the life of a reporter at something like this? Well, if they win, we get to go on to Atlanta. And that's a big gray area, Gray TV. We're both under that umbrella. But if not, we move right into basketball. And last year we had a Sweet 16 run, and Texas Tech just was down 17 and beat Duke at Madison Square Garden. And meanwhile, the Lady Raiders are the women's team, ranked for the first time since 2012. They're 14-0. And then softball, probably going to be ranked preseason number 1. So the money is flowing in Lubbock, Texas. Oil money is real. It's oil money and shoe money. So that's both those are good. All right, Pete, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and having this conversation with us. And that's awesome. Looking forward to the game. And, we'll see what happens in a couple days. Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Let me just wish everybody out there in Oregon Happy New Year and blessings to everybody. It's going to be a good game. And the best team's going to win. And whoever loses, you just got to deal with it. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be a tight game. Awesome. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate it so much. Absolutely, Greg. You guys take care. We'll see you. You too. All right. We'll let Pete get back to it there in Miami. But yeah, huge thank you to him for joining us. And thanks everybody for watching here. This is Fox 12 Now. We're going to take a break. You'll see our programming switch to local news live here for a while, but I'll be back throughout the afternoon. If there's breaking news, I'll definitely have that for you as well. Thanks for tuning in.